Welcome back to the Now Morning Show on this Friday morning, our Friday morning edition, just about 39 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Now, we are going to be talking about all things motorsport and what's been taking place at the Frankie Boodram Wallerfied International Raceway with President of the TNT Automobile Sport Association, Mr. Ashton Elagor, and of course, its newly appointed treasurer, Mr. Jody Ali. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Kimberly. Thanks for having us.
Now, the Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sport Association, or TTASA. Tell us, of course, I'll start with you, Mr. Elagor. Tell us about TTASA, a little bit of history about the organization.
So it's a TTASA, so Trinidad and Tobago Automobile Sports Association. And we've been in existence a little over 30 years as TTASA. But in terms of motorsport history, we go just, I think, 70, 72 years. But we started as Courtesy Car Club, and this was in the late 40s, and then we grew to another, we were TAA for one point in time, and then we were Trinidad Automobile Sports Club, and just around 1990 we became TTASA. So TTASA is the governing body, is the recognized governing body by the government and also by the International Association, which is FIA, Federal International de Automobile. And so TTASA, we manage all motorsport activities in Trinidad, whether it be circuit racing, drag racing, drifting, karting, and we do have a couple of the affiliates that fall under TTASA. But by and large, we are the only, and we're known as the ASN, the National Sporting Association, for Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a big history. It went back to the days with Tom Miller and company, where they cleared the runway, the old airstrip, and started to do circuit racing. So predominantly was a circuit association, and we grew into the different disciplines that we have now.
And while you grew into those different disciplines, you would have created policies and standards to guide the motorsport.
Yes, so we do run, and we managed, and we're kept honest by our constitution, and by and large, we follow the guidelines and from the FIA.
Right, nice. And so let's take it back before we come back again. The pandemic, I know it has been hard on a lot of sports in the country. How did it affect TTASA, and then how did you guys move through and now end up at this state?
Yeah, the pandemic was hard for me globally. Just before the pandemic started, we had one of the biggest events ever. That was in early 2019. And we saw so much of new racers, spectators, sponsors. And then for a greater part of 2 years, there was not a lot that was done. Bear in mind, the Wallerfied International Circuit was used as a max vaccination camp. What we did in the interim, we had an event. It's an online gaming event, E-Series Cup. And that ran for about 2 weeks. And we saw drivers from age 14 straight to mid-50s take part in that. And we want to carry on in 2023 as one of the carded events for the year, because there's a lot of interest. It's not a whole lot is required to take part. It's PlayStation, but it brought the awareness, and it encouraged people to start taking part into motorsport. And also during that period, we developed a new series with the primarily one of our affiliates, which is TTKA and Spec Miata Club, and they brought about a series which is a low budget entry series. So you have persons that start from age 4 at the karting level. So our members age from age 4 to mid-70s.
Well, I'm just realizing that you'll have some young members as well.
Yeah, so from age 4 go into the cadet series for the karters, and then you have the circuit racers, which we have a couple of groups, group 1 to 4, and now in between, as I mentioned, entry level, we have a Spec Miata series, 15 or 18 cars, and so that was done within the pandemic, and a couple of months ago, I think a month and a half ago, we actually launched that series, and it's well received.
It's well
definitely
received. It's going good.
Yeah, definitely.
And so as we are, currently into the things that we're doing now, I want to bring you in, Jody, to find out exactly what kind of support does the motorsport need at this time.
Well, you know, we really trying to get Wallerfield more recognized. You know, the name is there from the older heads. So growing up as a child, you would hear the name Wallerfield, but it got a little lost through the years gone by. So we need the support of predominantly the members, and we need, what do you think, Ashton? We need more?
Well, what I must say, we have, I mean, for a long point in time, a couple of years, Wallerfield was lost. And then we regained the usage of Wallerfield, and then a couple of years ago, the Honorable Prime Minister, Minister of Sport and Tourism, Ms. Gopi Spoon, and also Shampo Kujo, Minister of Sport. I think that's 3 years ago that they handed over, not officially as yet, Wallerfield as the permanent home for motorsport with a renewable 30-year lease. Now, we are very appreciative for all the efforts that have been done and continue to be done, but there's still a little way to go to actually sign on the dotted line, you know.
So then is Wallerfield the only place where you can, for want of a better word, legally drag race and all the other motorsports?
Yes, and we encourage people to come to Wallerfield because, you know, you yourself, Kimberly, you have seen on the news, there's some, we'll term illegal activities, and we encourage people. You know, we a couple of years ago introduced a new discipline. Is pretty much street cars that could come to Wallerfield and come to a purpose-built facility where all the controls, where all the safeties, and so should something go wrong, bear in mind, motorsport by and large is a dangerous sport.
Of course, yes.
Right? But you know, we risk assess, of course, and put everything in place so that depending on the class that you're in, we have all the safety protocols, and we ourselves as management need to ensure that you have a proper, safe facility and all the persons that are required if something were to go wrong.
Yeah. So then, Jody, is it that you have to be a member to access the facilities at Wallerfield, and then how can somebody become a member?
No, you don't need to be a member. Obviously, there are benefits by being a member, but we really invite the public to bring their children and themselves to the track. So you can enter a competition, whether it be drag racing or circuit racing. You could be a non-member, correct, Akshan?
Yeah.
So, but there are obviously benefits. So
you will encourage people to
yeah, well,
to join
the idea is to you don't need to be a member, but the idea is to come on board, gain experience, and then you evaluate to see if you want to be a member. There are many benefits of being a member, so we encourage people to come and just experience it so you could go further with us.
And so what are some of the benefits? Like, let's say, for example, somebody's listening now, they love to drag race, right? They hear that they can access the Wallerfield Center. What are some of the benefits that they can get if they decide to become a member of TTASA?
Well, that what you mentioned is the major benefit, to be able to use the facility when you want to go out to do a practice, right? Think about it. Membership is annually $1,000. And with that membership, you could enter the facility for any TTASA event. Now, if you're a drag racer, that's 5 events for the year. And as a member, you pay less. You pay $200 less. So it's a no-brainer. You're going to get back your money just in attending the drag racing events. Now, to be a member, it's easy. It's easy. You could go on our social media pages and just sign up. And we welcome. We have seen a huge scale of persons coming on board, even prior to the pandemic, because there's a lot of activities, you know, within Trinidad and our regional associates, namely Guyana, Barbados, and Jamaica. You know, there's a lot. Right now, we have an event this weekend where we have an event in Trinidad, and there's also a major event in Guyana. So we have a couple of our racers. You know, 3 persons went to represent Trinidad. So it's Trinidad, Guyana, and Suriname. But unfortunately, the executives were not able to attend because we also have an event this weekend from one of our affiliates. But more importantly, we have a visit from 2 very high ranking personnel in FIA coming to the facility this very weekend.
Well, tell us about it.
So the event this weekend is themed War of Wheels. It's an event that first time at Wallerfield. We welcome it at Wallerfield because it's pretty much an off-road event. Motocross, autocross, a couple stunt riders from France and Canada will be here, together with a drag racing event on the Saturday, right? So we have the Vice President of the FIA of the North Americas visiting us. We have an official meeting with him on Monday, and so he will be here. It so happened it coincides same time we have this event. So we will be managing the actual drag racing. The event is sanctioned by TTASA. So we look forward for a bumper crowd, and this comes on the heel of an event we had just 3 weeks ago that saw in excess of 5,000 people.
So what I'm hearing is that a lot of things are going on at TTASA, and of course you are still encouraging people to join,
yes,
and of course get access to that facility so that they can drag race legally and not have everybody speeding up and on the highway.
We want to get people off the road. Look at the road fatalities per year. It's still ridiculous. Whatever number is it now, even if it's one, it's still too much.
Exactly.
So we encourage the youngsters, we say the term the boy racers, come to this facility.
Yeah.
We already working on 2023 calendar, and by all indications it's packed.
That's good.
Every weekend there's an activity there. As I said, if it's circuit or street racing or proper all-out drag racing or drifting or grid canna, karting, believe you me, now we're going to introduce auto sport, autocross, motocross on the facility, because now we have, through the kind sponsorship of the developers for this event, have done a proper autocross, motocross track.
And Mr. Alago, I'm going to have you and Jody come back in another time to discuss that. But finally, quickly, where can we go to get more information about becoming a member of TTASA?
You want to just...
Right, so we are redesigning the present web pages and the social media pages. We can give personal email addresses for the club, and all questions and inquiries could go there. But for now, we can't. There is a TTASA Facebook page. Mm-hmm. It will be populated and make live. It'll be made live by next week.
By next week, so you can go to Facebook page TTASA to get more information.
Yes.
All right. Well, Mr. Ali, Mr. Alago, thank you so much for coming and just talking a little bit about motorsports and how we can access that Frankie, Boodram, Wallerfield International Raceway, and how we can get off the roads, as you mentioned. So thank you, gentlemen, so much.
Thanks for
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that was Mr. Jody Ali and, of course, Mr. Ashton Alago, the treasurer and president of TTASA, just sharing everything about motorsport and motor racing. We are going to take a break and be right back. We have so much more on this Friday edition. Stay with us.